the concern for the human ecology, particularly the radiations, communications, mainly really behavioral patterning that can affect the environment, especially around areas that has an environment that maintains our well-beings just by being there present with it. See, the reason why I keep talking about this is because that's where I live. It was, and it still is. If you look around you, you live, okay, if you're in Idlewild and you're listening to this, you live inside of a massive wilderness area. Even if all of the trees were to burn away, you will see even more that you are on top of a massive wilderness area. Now it's called just pure granite. You're not ever going to get rid of this. You can't budget anytime soon. You're driving up 45 miles or so, 20, 18 miles on roads to get here. Only 2 roads in, technically, into the actual community. It's very, very unique, special. It's not like everywhere else. See, and it can't, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't. It should be boasted. The example set here. Now, getting back to what lives here, resides here full time, uh, is curious. We look at it and wonder. Because there's a plague on the planet called narcissism, which is really just the fully encapsulated mind, which is, to put it just bluntly, extremely mind-boned people to the point where their problems in their head, about their head, which is, it's just a problem. Overall, if you can't see it and you're blind to the whole stirring fucking racket that you think you are based in memory, then you become basically more and more a narcissist or a nutcase, somebody who is not sound, is dangerous to reality, well, the truth in reality, dangerous to the truth in reality. In case you wanted to know, you are a truth in reality. If you can wake up enough, you can say, I am the truth. When somebody ends up saying that, like Christ or somebody, which he said that, she did, you're in a desperate situation there. You're trying to, your language is strong. It's not profuse enough for what is sleeping in front of you. You know, there is something to value about our associations, whatever it may be. Um, it's like this: just a glance when you're walking down the road and you see somebody. Are you seeing a smile, or do you choose to smile? See, I choose to smile. And if I get a so-called neighbor moving in, if they're new, I choose to wave, and at least be present. Say, hey, I see you and you see me. At least that, you know. But getting back to my concern, that is very real, because here's why. Some people are naturally like this. Okay, they are actually genuinely community oriented and relationship oriented. This is not well known of me, not even over Facebook, because this is a delicacy of our lives. Really, it's not any. It's not anything that as far as our association, like with people, there's for me that there's your acquaintances, and you're present with people. Of course, you're just present. You don't block them out just because you know a few people in your life, and that's what you're limiting yourself to, especially family. No, no. But I'm very, very, very private and exclusive. A lot of people would notice that, and it is kind of like, well, you're either in or out, not based on you feeding my ego, but feeding my heart, what I contain in my heart, which is, I happen to have a lot of fucking gifts. Everybody does. Everybody has, what I would like to say is, potential. But no, we can, by this time, if you're listening to this and you're nearing 50 years old, you are accomplished in something. And that begins early. If it's just your narcissism, congratulations. Where are you out now with it? Are you just Are you? See, I don't talk about this much, but I say that narcissism, the plague, the reason why it's called narcissism, which is not helping. If we knew it was the mind fully encapsulated, it's your imagination gone into bad imagination because you have no real experience of the truth and reality. You haven't gotten your body yet. Now, what age are we by that time that you're trying to get in your body? Age 3, 2? Somebody told you no a lot, and you were gathering this energy in that just was all you know is that you are being put like that. It's not even necessarily a real life physical saying no. It's more like boundary breaking that you can't have your solitary space, your rights to just experience things at the rate that you are. And when you're a kid, it's hyper learning mode. And I don't want to say unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You're in hyper learning mode. There could be several stages of hyper learning, but they end around about the age. I mean, I don't know when it will ever end, but age 6 is when now they're trying to get into their minds, which isn't a learning mode. It's just trying to tune in on what is this thing up here. I I have all these faculties. It includes just really your entire body, right? But your mind is tricky. It has to do with your entire human aperture. See, the choices that you make and are allowing in, right? That ultimately brings you a feeling. And by that time, are you feeling good? You should be. As a kid, you're feeling pure bliss. There isn't any way to stop you. You are running around and around and around, and your kids and your parents are wise enough to know that they should have a yard at least and a neighborhood full of kids that they can just go. When I was growing up, and you could see it everywhere, that's the way it was in the 70s. We have this. Our post is, and we're the strongest generation, by the way, the only one that could probably pull out of what, if any of us have survived, what's coming next. We will survive. We are the ones who stand up and say, "Excuse me, it's about community and playing with each other." Now, some people we will notice, they had stricter parents than us. They weren't able to play all the time. It wasn't always just, we're playing. That doesn't last long. A wise parent knows that their childhood doesn't just, it just flashes away, especially that little baby moment. See, narcissists, they only get along with toddlers and babies. And they love children, right? Because of that. Children things like, why? Because it's just a retarded place. They only do good with handicapped people that are a bit under the weather, and they can be considered a hero, maybe. A lot of them are like that. They're very basic, childish narcissists are. They want energy, attention, bottom line. And the kids are like a no-brainer. So they'll have kids just thinking, oh, you mean I can be loved and have attention for the rest of my life? And it's like, no. If you're smothering them, they're gonna the way that the math will work out in a healthy situation is that it will even itself out. They will get their solitude. You can even feel it when you're a kid. I don't know about you, but I felt it as an Aquarius moon. I was like, this kind of friend thing and the peer pressure of needing to get involved, with your boyfriend, and it's all peer pressure, but it's like, well, whatever, we'll do it, and I wind up just doing it my way, and it's different because well, it just allows a more expanded experience. Like my first boyfriend while going to high school, he was a lot older than me, and he had a truck, and that was allowed to happen because, well, some people are immature, and he was on my level of maturity, and I was, I'm sure I was way above his level of maturity. It's kind of hard getting conscious about your level of maturity when you're a kid. Like if you are a very just you were installed with intelligence that's just ready to roll, and maybe you are playing music and you've already affected your audience in such a way that even though you meet somebody else who's a little older than you and they're tinkering around with the same subject matter, they didn't ever get that far. they don't, in other words, they don't have near 1,500 videos there, and basically how you get that far is basically you don't care about what other people think ultimately. If you really have something that brings you joy and enthusiasm and a certain thing that I can get closer to it is like brings you into your inner world that you can say, I have something of me here. This is what I value. I love this about me. This is what's in my heart. And when you really have that, there isn't anything else to do when you have achieved becoming a heart full is to pour it out and share. And so that's what I've done. My my motto nowadays has been I do not live a broken dream. I don't live anybody's broken dream. I I I'm accomplished in that in my dreams. What I set out to do from start to finish, and I get it. I get the journey is really what you're on. It's not the start or the finish. It's not the finish either. It's questionable whether it does finish. I mean, there is an ending, and there's always transformation. There's a bittersweetness to that, and ha, a lot to talk about. Maybe getting back to the extremely childish population that are that way because they were told no a lot and they could not get out of just being a child. And that's to the convenience of a system that doesn't want the organism to pop up and say, hey, we can take care of ourselves in a certain way that we just remain playing and feeling good. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you poisoning our water? And why are you locking us in a fucking box in a desk? Fiddle fucking about our egos. Whether or not you can stick us in our heads so fucking far that we can care less about the truth and reality includes each other and mainly our own presence to ourselves, how we feel. Amen. Sister, Sunday.